To welcome you to the reorganization meeting of the Princeton Council on January 2nd, 2018. Madam Clerk, have we met all the noticing requirements for this meeting?
We have, Mayor.
And can you please call the roll?
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Ms. Howard?
Here.
Mr. Liverman?
Here.
Ms. Crummiller?
Here.
Ms. Butler?
Here.
Mayor Lempert?
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, at our last December regular meeting of December, we made some presentations and said goodbye to our colleagues, Councilman Bernie Miller and Councilwoman Joe Butler, although Ms. Butler couldn't be there for a very good reason, probably the best reason in the world, which was she was becoming a grandma that evening. So now I just wanted to give them an opportunity if they had some final remarks they'd like to make. So first I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Butler, and then we'll hear from Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. As luck would have it, due to circumstances beyond my control, I did miss the penultimate meeting as a council person, the meeting at which Councilman Miller and I were recognized for our service. And I understand that kind words were spoken on my behalf, so thank you to my colleagues for that. I appreciate the departure from the agenda to allow me the opportunity to say a few words today. First, I'd like to congratulate Bernie on his wonderful years of service to Princeton, both the township and the consolidated Princeton. As most of you know, Bernie had a very successful corporate and military career before he came to public service. And I saw the value of that experience on the transition team and as we slogged through the ordinance harmonization together. His understanding of organizations, of systems, and lines of authority and responsibility were invaluable in thinking through our new structures. There is little that anyone in municipal government can claim for one's own. Success relies on the work of many. But Bernie deserves special recognition for spearheading the solar field efforts. And if our cold storage facility ever gets built, let me be the first to suggest that it be named in honor of Bernie, as he was an early and stalwart supporter of that effort as well. Bernie, your wisdom, hard work, independence will be sorely missed. I wish you and Ruth wonderful travels and time with family and friends. I can't leave without at least a short message. One of the many difficult lessons of 2017 has been the reminder of the importance of a robust free press. Thomas Jefferson said, "Were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter." Local journalism matters too, and I would encourage each of you to support the local press, all of it, whatever remains of it. Trust me when I tell you that it serves as a check and balance to the governing body and to the administration. Too often of late, we have governed to an empty room. Videos, pressers, and the municipal website are no substitute for good reporting of actual meetings. Journalism is essential for democracy. I want to thank the municipal staff for all they do. We're fortunate to have some extremely qualified and very dedicated employees who care deeply about this town. I gave my public love note to our rec director, Ben Stentz, a few meetings ago, but I would be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out to the Recreation Department and the Recreation Commission. It has been an honor to serve alongside such a talented and dedicated group. I want to thank my husband, Jim Butler, who's here, for his 7 years of support and forbearance. There aren't words to express my gratitude for his willingness to wear a sandwich board in support of my candidacy at Communiversity, but also the ways in which he would jump in and offer support and service to the town. Finally, I want to thank all the residents of Princeton for the trust you have placed in me as an elected official. It is a responsibility and honor that I never took lightly. I want to congratulate David and Letitia on their election and offer my services to them should they need them. If there's ever anything I can do, where's David? If there's ever anything I can do to be helpful, please don't hesitate to let me know. Best wishes to all for a happy, healthy new year. And to Robert Mueller, Godspeed.
Mr. Miller?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for giving me the opportunity to make a few comments this evening. Since 2002, I've had the honor of serving the residents of Princeton as their elected representative to local government. First as a member of Princeton Township Committee, and then as a member of Princeton Council. Now, for the first time this evening, I'll have the opportunity as a member of the public to thank you, my friends, my neighbors, for the opportunity to play a part in guiding our merged municipality toward the future. I'd like to speak directly to my colleague Joe Butler, who will also retire this evening. I first met Joe before the turn of the last century, and there's a nice Princeton phrase for all of us, before the turn of the last century, when we were both officers of the Friends of the Princeton Public Library. Joe was never one to accept a glib or superficial answer to a question, and she probed hard to find the justification for the answer. On council, too, she has always been the one to ask the tough questions, making the respondents justify their position. Her willingness to ask the tough questions will be missed. There have been a good many accomplishments since I've been an elected official, but there are three that I'd like to call out for special mention. The first was being part of the successful effort after multiple previous attempts to consolidate the former Princeton Township and Princeton Borough to the lasting benefit of all Princeton residents. The second is having been a member of the team, along with former Councilman Patrick Simon, in negotiating a 7-year voluntary payment agreement with Princeton University, under which the university recognized its shared commitment for the economic well-being of the town. Over the term of the agreement, the university will have voluntarily paid more than $21 million to the town. The third is having led the development of the town's first solar electric power generating facility, built on the town's closed dump on River Road. This unique three-way partnership between the Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority, the private sector, and the town provides about 30% of the electricity needs of the Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority at a cost that's significantly less than that bought from the grid. Over my time as an elected official, I've enjoyed working with a fine, dedicated municipal staff, with volunteers who gave their time and effort unstintingly to their town, and with other elected officials who worked hard to do what they believed was best for Princeton. I know that we will face difficult challenges in the future, but I will retire from elected office comfortable in my belief that the future of our community is secure in the hands of those of my colleagues who will remain on council and those who will follow me as newly elected members of council. You have my best wishes for success as you move the municipality forward in these challenging times. Thank you.
I want to once again thank Joe and Bernie for their service and for being our colleagues and for helping the consolidated Princeton get off the ground. So thank you so much. We're going to miss you both.
We step down now?
Okay, I can report to all those present that at the general election held last November, David Cohen and Leticia Fraga were elected to serve on Princeton Council beginning today. Will Ryan Lilienthal please come forward to administer the oath of office to Ms. Fraga? You can take the mic maybe from the podium. There you go.
Exciting. Do I hold this? Guys, stand over here.
And if you want to move the podium aside for better pictures, you're welcome to do so.
She used to put her hand on this? All right. Which hand?
Left. So somebody holds
How
this.
about your daughter?
Sophia, you hold that.
Okay. Left hand on, right hand up?
Do they hold it? Does my family hold up?
Oh, yeah.
Bible? Yes. Stephen, closer. Okay.
Are we good? All right. Okay, this is County of Mercer, State of New Jersey. Repeat after me. I, Leticia Fraga, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Leticia Fraga, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the government established in the United States and in this state, and to the governments established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I do further solemnly swear or affirm
I do further solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office
perform all the duties of the office
as a member of the Princeton Council
as a member of the Princeton Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
And will Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker please come forward to administer the oath to Mr. Cohen?
You may have to do that. Raise your hand. I state your name.
I, David Cohen,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear the true faith
and I will bear the true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all of the duties of the office
perform all of the duties of the office
as a member of the Princeton Council
as a member of the Princeton Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Can you please call the roll one more time?
Mr. Quinn.
Here.
Ms. Howard.
Here.
Mr. Liverman.
Here.
Ms. Crummiller.
Here.
Mr. Cohen.
Here.
Ms. Fraga.
Here.
Mayor Lempert.
Here. I will now accept nominations for the office of Council President.
I would like to nominate Jenny Crummiller.
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Quinn.
Yes,
Ms.
with
Howard?
enthusiasm.
Said unenthusiastically.
Ms. Howard.
Yes.
Mr. Liverman.
Yes.
Ms. Crummiller.
Yes.
Mr. Cohen.
Yes.
Ms. Fraga.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. I hope I serve you well, or I promise to serve you well. I hope I will do my best.
Congratulations, Jenny. And now I get to administer the oath to Jenny, so we'll go now. The Constitution of the United States
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
to the governments established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of Council President
perform all the duties of the office of Council President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Hey, Jenny, we got something.
No, hello. You've had enough hugging. No. My president. People are getting bored.
Okay, before I accept a motion for the consent agenda, I just had a couple corrections. So the first, Resolution 18-1, the resolution authorizing 2018 council departmental assignments. I wanted to add Johnny Krummeller to the Complete Streets Committee, and to also clarify that Tim Quinn will be a Class 1 member of the Planning Board, and David Cohen will be a Class 3 member of the Planning Board. And then for Resolution 18-2, resolution authorizing appointments to boards, commissions, and committees, Gregory Stankiewicz is being added to the Planning Board as the Board of Education representative, and Jenny Ludmer is being recommended to the Environmental Commission as alternate 1 instead of alternate 2 as she is listed. So with those corrections, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Mr. Quinn and seconded by Mr. Liverman. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the consent agenda passes. Oh, thank you. And I also wanted to administer the oaths of office for the fire department chiefs, who I think are all here now. They were actually just had responded to an unexpected fire late this afternoon, so we're glad they could be here tonight. So I'd like to call up Chief Kyle Rendell, Deputy Chief Sal Baldino, and Assistant Chief Thomas Johnson, so I can administer the oath.
Again, I just need you guys to sign.
Of course, we have.
Okay. We can do. Should we do them each? Should we do all 3 at once? All right. So then you should. Okay. All right. But you guys should face.
Okay.
So people. I, please state your name.
I, Kyle Rendell,
I, Sal Baldino.
I, Thomas Johnson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people. So help me God. I do further solemnly swear that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Fire Chief,
office of Deputy Chief,
office of Assistant Chief,
according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
And while the fire chiefs are still somewhat in the room and the fire department, I just wanted to thank everybody for your work on the Griggs Farm fire over the holidays and for the aftermath and for the community support. It's been a really remarkable thing to see in our community. So thank you for being the leaders on that. I also just want to once again welcome everybody and recognize some of the former and current elected officials who are here in the room with us tonight. First of all, former Mayor Bernie Miller and former Mayor Marvin Reed are here. County Executive Brian Hughes. Assemblyman Andrew Zwicker. And our newest Assemblyman, Roy Feynman. Freeholder Andrew Kuntz. And Freeholder John Cimino. Well, and welcome to everybody. So this is the 6th year I have had the honor of delivering an address at a reorganization meeting of the Consolidated Princeton. And it's always a welcome opportunity to highlight accomplishments from the past year and look forward to the work ahead. However, this is the first time I feel compelled to begin my remarks by looking outside of our municipal boundaries. 2017 was a year marked by protests, marches, and rallies around the country and here in Princeton on numerous national issues from women's rights to immigrant protection to supporting science and combating climate change. The events of 2017 were a powerful reminder that we in Princeton are inextricably tied to the world around us and personally impacted by decisions made in Washington. But at the same time, we have the tremendous opportunity to run a smart, efficient, and effective government at the local level that upholds our community values. Values of diversity and inclusion, evidence-based decision-making, civic engagement, and cooperation and collaboration with community partners and fellow municipalities to make a difference here at home and even beyond our borders. Despite the turmoil on the national stage, 2017 was a year of continued and steady progress for municipal government in Princeton. Identifying budget savings, increasing affordability options, and shoring up the social safety net for our most vulnerable neighbors remain top priorities. Princeton maintained our AAA bond rating, a sign of our robust fiscal health, and we continued to look for savings through department reorganizations and shared services agreements. Access Princeton, Princeton's one-stop call center, relocated to the clerk's office in Witherspoon Hall for an annual savings of approximately $80,000. Combining the position of health officer and assistant administrator has saved $30,000 annually. In addition, the municipality will save an estimated $1.7 million over the next 5 years as a result of the decision to privately contract for dispatch services. Princeton's professional staff has a reputation for going above and beyond, and I wanted to give a special thank you to everyone in the tax office for their long hours over the holidays. The line was out the door many times with residents wishing to prepay their 2018 property taxes, and the response of our staff was courteous and professional, and they were greeted by thankful and appreciative residents. Economic challenges have caused an increase in the number of families facing eviction and possible homelessness. And in response, the Human Services Department convened a coalition of housing stability organizations, including Arm in Arm, Stonehill Church, St. Vincent de Paul, Homefront, and Housing Initiatives of Princeton. The coalition created a shared intake and referral system so that families in crisis only have to visit one agency to be connected to all available services. Collectively, the group was able to help 21 families at risk of eviction. Princeton's 3 affordable housing agencies, the Affordable Housing Department, Princeton Community Housing, and the Housing Authority, also developed a single intake form. Working with a team of Princeton University undergraduates, they developed an online form that simplifies, modernizes, and humanizes the sometimes bewildering process of accessing affordable housing. We still await a decision from the Mercer Superior Court that will determine Princeton's obligation through 2025. In the meantime, we continue to make progress in expanding our affordable housing inventory. Council amended an agreement with developer Bob Hillier to maintain the Waxwood as a rental property and increase the number of affordable units there to 8, with 1 very low-income unit, 2 low-income units, 3 moderate, and 2 middle-income units. The municipality also launched several partnerships with housing nonprofits, with Princeton Community Housing to add an additional 40 affordable units at Princeton Community Village, with Community Options to develop a 4-bedroom group home for adults with developmental disabilities, and with Habitat for Humanity on a 2-unit development next to Mary Moss Playground. The council also revised Princeton's cluster ordinance by adding a density bonus if land is set aside for a future affordable housing site. In addition to creating new affordable units and incentives for future units, the municipality successfully protected tenants from future evictions. Avalon Bay was attempting to convert the 56 affordable rental units at its Witherspoon Street development to regular market rate units after 30 years. But the municipality prevailed in court, preserving affordability controls in perpetuity and thereby maintaining stability in our affordable housing inventory. Thanks to a $20,000 grant from the Princeton Area Community Foundation, the Human Services Department was able to expand the number of spots for students in our popular Summer Youth Employment Program. And in 2017, both the annual back-to-school backpack drive and the holiday gift drive expanded to serve more of Princeton's children in need as a result of the tremendous and record-breaking outpouring of donations. Princeton's generosity has been on full display this week, with the tremendous support shown to the families displaced by the Griggs Farm fire, and in particular, I want to thank our first responders. Princeton is blessed with community-minded residents embodying a generous spirit. We also greatly benefit from lasting civic investments made by our predecessors over the past decades and even centuries, and it is vital that we do our part to maintain and upgrade our infrastructure. One of the most demanding projects of this past year was the reconstruction of the 225-year-old historic Stone Arch Bridge on Route 206. Not only does the bridge serve as a practical purpose as a main connector in our road network, but it also serves as a physical link to the early days of our republic. Our Historic Commission, Engineering Department, and Police worked closely with the State Department of Transportation in ensuring an historically sensitive reconstruction with minimized traffic disruption. The result is a beautiful bridge, finished 1 day ahead of schedule, with 21st century engineering encased in artful 18th century inspired masonry. Some infrastructure, like the bridge, is seen by the public every day. Other infrastructure remains behind the scenes, but is still important. Nearly every year, Council spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on public works vehicles that are then left outside overnight in the harsh elements because we lack a covered parking facility. After years of planning and prodding by Mr. Miller, Council authorized the construction of a cold storage facility at the River Road property to prolong the life of our valuable public works equipment, and construction is slated to begin this spring. Also at River Road, we switched on a solar field on the closed landfill. The 3-megawatt solar array, paid for and operated by a private company, is providing approximately 25% of the power needs for the Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority. Plus, the municipality is receiving a lease payment of $25,000 a year for the use of an otherwise unusable site. The solar project is part of an effort to convert to cleaner, more renewable forms of energy that don't pollute our air or contribute to climate change. I am proud to be one of America's nearly 400 climate mayors and to have signed on to the Chicago Charter on behalf of Princeton, which pledges us to work together with other cities and towns to meet the targets set in the Paris Agreement. To that end, we expanded options for several lower impact forms of transportation in 2017. We cut the ribbon on 2 electric vehicle charging stations in the Spring Street garage, A revised freebie schedule set to launch in January 2018 is designed to better address growing demand. A new translocation device, paid for by the Transit Trust Fund, now allows riders to track the bus in real time to make catching the bus more convenient. Meanwhile, Princeton's bike share program expanded in 2017 to include stations at the Princeton Shopping Center, 22 Chambers Street, Heinz Plaza, TD Bank, and right here at Witherspoon Hall. There are now 137 bikes at stations on campus and throughout town. Since the program started in March of 2016, there have been over 48,000 trips taken. The Planning Board formally adopted the Bike Master Plan into the circulation element of the Master Plan this past year, laying the foundation for a comprehensive linked bike network throughout town that makes it safe, attractive, and convenient for people who bike. Creating viable opportunities for residents to get around without a car is an important component of affordability. But sometimes cars are essential, and in 2017, Princeton embarked on a parking study funded through a grant to develop new solutions to our downtown parking and circulation system with the goal of maintaining the economic diversity, vibrancy, quality of life, and character of the town. My printer broke just as I was leaving the house, so I'm going to have to read the rest of this from my computer. The Neighborhood Character Rezoning Initiative continued in 2017, and the committee plans to bring several ordinances to council and the planning board early this year. Meanwhile, the construction department has issued permits for 30 new homes from January to November in 2017, which was up 11% from 2016, and permits for 23 additions, which was up 77% from 2016. But demolition permits were down. We had 14 in 2017, which was down nearly double that number a year ago. Council continued Princeton's tradition of preserving land and protecting our waterways for future generations by updating our demolition, waste, and recycling ordinance and working with the Environmental Commission and Stony Brook Millstone Watershed Association to revise our stormwater regulations. Access Princeton helped the municipality use technology to reduce paper and deliver better service by moving more permit and form applications online. We are also working on developing a new modern website that will make it easier for residents to navigate information, find services, and submit requests online, and we're hoping to have that launched in the first quarter of this year. 2017 saw the emergence of new voices, including Princeton's first Youth Advisory Committee and a reconstructed Civil Rights Commission. Some of the newest voices in our community are those of immigrants. This is a time when many feel under attack. Princeton has made an effort to be a welcoming community and a resource for information, including Know Your Rights trainings, legal services assistance, mental health assistance, information about DACA and TPS, and safety planning. 2017 saw the retirements and moving on of many beloved longtime employees, and we said goodbye to Police Lieutenant Rob Toole and Detective Sergeant Christopher Quaste, Joe Moroli in Recreation, and Jackie Schreiber at Corner House. And we welcomed a new affordable housing manager in Maureen Fullaway, Joe Novak, our new fire official, Nicole Palucci, program supervisor at Recreation, and 5 new police officers, Adam Santos, Ashley Gaylord, James Euphemia, Michael Maselli, and Ryan McDermott. We said goodbye to 2 of our council colleagues earlier this evening, former township mayor and former council president and senior councilman Bernie Miller and councilwoman Joe Butler. And we are thrilled to welcome David Cohen and Leticia Fraga. Each of you brings special talents and enthusiasm, and we're very excited to have you join our team. And while we have accomplished much during the past year, there will still be challenges ahead. The council will be meeting this Saturday for goal setting and training, and we will be back here again next Monday for our first regular council meeting of 2018. I fully anticipate we will have another productive year, and among the many projects I expect we'll be taking on are approval of a fair share housing plan following the court decision, installation of smart parking meters and establishment of revised fees, continuation of the program to treat or remove trees infected by the emerald ash borer, work on a climate action plan to reduce emissions and adapt to changing weather patterns, adoption of a policy on the use of speed humps and other traffic calming measures, completion of the Mary Moss Playground, and working with community partners to address the mental health issues affecting our youth. In closing, we've seen a lot of change this past year. Princeton University's campus plan and the opening of the Lewis Center for the Arts, the commercial development at 255 Nassau Street, Ryder's decision to sell the Westminster Choir College, and progress on construction of a new PFARS building. I wanted to remark on one of the images I will take with me from 2017, and that is the proliferation of welcoming lawn signs around town. In particular, the blue "Hate Has No Home Here" with the heart-shaped American flag, and the trilingual blue, orange, and green sign with the message, "No matter where you are from, we are glad you're our neighbor." These warm signs are a constant reminder that we have the power to create the kind of community we want to live in. And in this uncertain time, we have the ability to rebuild trust in civic institutions by succeeding locally. Princeton is a remarkable community, and we have a terrific team of professionals, skilled volunteers, and engaged residents. And I'm ready once again to roll up my sleeves and get to work with you all. Thank you very much. And now I'd like to turn it over to my colleagues if they have any words, and we'll start with Council President Crum-Miller.
Thanks. I want to thank you, the people who are here, for your interest and participation in local government. We are fortunate to have so many involved residents and friends of Princeton. You keep us on our toes by speaking out at meetings, sending emails, and calling us. And I really mean it when I say keep it up in 2018. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Bernie and Joe. We will miss you both. Bernie, we all benefited from your executive leadership experience as you shepherded us through brag-worthy projects like the landfill solar field and less glamorous but equally important projects like our real estate inventory for affordable housing, the cold storage facility that's getting underway, our Princeton University agreement. We wish you well in your new pursuits, and we expect to see you around. Joe, you hold yourself and everyone else to a high standard. You've challenged us, and the consolidated municipality is better for that. You read widely and have always been on top of whatever issues we face. I hope you will continue to send emails with relevant new links. On a personal note, you have been a good friend on council, and I'm going to miss sitting next to you greatly. On to our new colleagues. Leticia, there is much to celebrate as you join us on the dais. We are proud to have our first ever Latina council member, but you have always been integral to our success through your work on the you have already been integral to our success through your work on the Human Services Commission and Civil Rights Commission, where your thoughtful and deliberative leadership has helped navigate what are often choppy waters. It's going to be great working with you. David, you have also already been helpful to us through your work on the planning board and lending your expertise while we try to work out a plan to enable a private nonprofit to save Veblen House. You have a calm and steady way about you, even when people start to disagree, that has earned you great respect in the community. The council is in good hands with the addition of the two of you. Lance, you have always been a supportive and helpful colleague. You make us a great team. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I doubt many people know how much you do behind the scenes to help residents. Since everyone knows you, everyone with problems comes to you. You manage to help people and bring people together to solve problems, and it's usually out of the spotlight. Heather, as xenophobic anti-immigration nonsense has increased throughout the country, you've been at the forefront of our efforts to create a welcoming town, watching out for the rights of vulnerable residents. I appreciate all you do to make sure our government bucks that nasty trend. But you are also sparkly and very quick, and it's been enjoyable serving with you. I look forward to working with you for another year. Tim, it's been fun and rewarding getting to know you this year and working with you, in part because you are most like a millennial on the council. You live right in town where you can walk everywhere. You ride your bike all the time. You have an Apple Watch, and you're really into social media. But you were into social media in a generous way, and because of you, I now get more likes. Everyone should follow Tim on Facebook and Twitter so you'll be in the know. Joking aside, you help us all keep connected, and I want to thank you for that. Liz, your speech was comprehensive and a little bit long. But that's because of all the work you have done. Your energy seems boundless, but so does your patience as you deal with all that a mayor has to deal with. I'm thrilled to be by your side as council president again this year. Last, I want to thank our staff, Mark, Kathy, and all the others that there are too many to go through individually, or I'd be here for half an hour. The staff makes up the heart and the soul of our government. We are so lucky to have a great staff. We often get credit for what you do, and I want to thank you for that. With that, I close and say thank you.
Leticia, do you want to go first?
I don't mind being first. Thank you, Mayor Lampert. I look forward to working with you, my new colleagues on council, and members of the boards and committees that I will be serving on. As a new member, I look forward to not only listening and learning, but I'm also ready and eager to collaborate with all members of our municipality. I want to thank my husband, Stephen Nadler, who has supported me every step of the way. Our children, Sophia and Benjamin, who have cheered me on as well. Also my older children, grandchildren, our friends and family near and far who have continued to encourage me. Trust me, if I were to name everyone individually, we would be here until tomorrow. Thank you to those who have first planted the seed in my mind that serving on council was something that I should do, before the thought even entered my mind that this could be a possibility. To all my friends and mentors who have helped me grow in this new chapter of my life, to all my friends, old and new, thank you for believing in me. To council members Bernie Miller and Joe Butler, I am humbled and honored to follow in your steps. I stand before you today with sincere appreciation for the opportunity I have to represent our community as the first Latina sworn to Princeton Council. For that opportunity, I want to recognize my parents, Guillermo and Angela Fraga. They couldn't be here today, but this day is as much theirs as it is mine. I am a proud immigrant. 47 years ago, my parents made the decision to move our family from Mexico to the United States in order to provide my siblings and I with more opportunities for a better future. I appreciate their courage and their vision. This historic moment belongs to them. I am eternally grateful for their sacrifices they have made. Mami y papi, este día les pertenece a ustedes por todos los sacrificios que han hecho para asegurar que todos sus hijos tuvieran una vida mejor en este país. Si no fuera por ustedes, esta oportunidad no hubiera sido posible. My parents taught me work ethic and pride of work. For my work in the fields, as an investigator fighting against discrimination, and as a volunteer advocating for social justice, they taught me that all work merits respect and pride. I will carry that pride and work ethic with me on council. Thank you to all who place their trust in me. I pledge that I will do what I've done before. On council, I won't back down from taking on tough issues or seeking solutions to improve the quality of life for everyone. My siblings and I are the product of access to opportunity. My life experience has inspired me to be an advocate and a champion for those I see myself in, and especially for those who haven't had a strong voice in government. I look forward to joining my colleagues to make sure we tackle the issues facing our community, including housing affordability. I thank you all for helping me make this moment a reality. Muchísimas gracias.
When deciding whether or not to run for council about a year ago, I was reminded of a favorite story my father liked to tell about his imaginary Uncle Itzik. One day, Uncle Itzik saw a help-wanted ad in the newspaper for someone to lead an expedition to the heart of the Congo. Qualified candidate must have large game hunting experience, wilderness survival training, and nerves of steel. Itzik rushed right down to the employment agency and presented himself to the receptionist. Now, you should know that Uncle Itzik was about 70 years old at the time, all of 5'2" and maybe 104 pounds when soaking wet. The receptionist was very skeptical. Didn't even want to let him in to see the job placement officer. She looked him up and down. You say you have large game hunting experience? Itzik replied, well, not exactly. I've set my fair share of mouse traps over the years. And what about wilderness survival training, she asked. To be perfectly honest, once by accident I got on the wrong subway and ended up in the Bronx. Otherwise, no. I don't suppose you can give me an example when you've demonstrated nerves of steel, she continued. Itzik replied, my wife says I got a lot of chutzpah, but mostly when fetching about her cooking. Finally, running out of patience, the receptionist said, so what on earth made you think you should respond to the ad for this position? Actually, Itzik confided, I just wanted to let you know, for this job, don't count on me. Ultimately, unlike Uncle Itzik, I decided, for this job, do count on me. As Mayor Lempert alluded to, many of the challenges Princeton faces in the coming year and beyond revolve around questions of how to manage development, how to balance the pressure for growth with the desire to preserve the unique character of our town, how to maintain affordability and diversity without sacrificing quality of life, how to create a more sustainable community for our children and grandchildren without pricing them out of the market. As an architect, I've been thinking about these kinds of questions for many years, and as a member of council, I've chosen to serve on committees and as liaison to community groups that grapple with them week in and week out. There are no easy answers, but principles of smart growth provide a blueprint for how to think about the challenges we face. I won't get into what those principles are just now. It would be rude to keep you any longer from the wonderful reception that awaits. But I encourage anyone in the community who wants to hear more or to share their own ideas about how to steer Princeton toward a vibrant, embracing, and optimistic future to join me any Wednesday morning at Bon Appetit between 8 and 9 a.m. I was there throughout the campaign, and I intend to continue. So, thank you.
Thank you. You want to go next?
Yeah, I would first want to thank Councilwoman Joe Butler and Councilman Bernie Miller for doing a great job serving the residents of Princeton. As we say, job well done. Second, I want to welcome Councilwoman Fraga and Councilman Cohen to the council. I know that they will add insight, wisdom, expertise, and a caring spirit to this wonderful council. I'm pleased to have the pleasure of working with my mayor, Mayor Liz Lampert. Our mayor is one of the most caring, responsible, efficient, productive civil servant I have ever met. Our council president, Councilwoman Crumiller, has really stepped up to the plate and has supported this council in such a positive way. Councilwoman Crumiller is one that never says no. If there is any way anything can be completed, Councilwoman Crumiller will find a way. She is very detailed and cares very much for our community. On my right, Councilwoman Howard is not only a very public health advocate, she brings expertise in many areas, including law. Councilwoman Howard has a strong feeling in regard to everybody being treated fairly and with respect. She is truly an example of a team player. And speaking of team players, Councilman Quinn has brought so much energy and thinking outside of the box that Councilman Quinn is someone that you would want on your team. He is hardworking, and he cares also deeply for the residents. And I'll be remiss if I didn't thank the staff, as all of us have done today, under our leadership with our administrator, Mark DeShield, our clerk, Kathy, and every employee that works for the town. You make our job easy. I want to say that my motto for this year is simple. It's let's do it. When we think about the weather and the many millions of dollars in municipal equipment that is being damaged because of no cold storage facility, I want to say, like everyone has said before, let's begin building that facility. Let's do it. When I think about, unfortunately, the many lives that have been affected by legal and illegal drug use, I want to say the Corner House, under the leadership of Mr. Gary de Blasio and the Princeton Alcohol and Drug Alliance, to continue to educate and teach our youth to be leaders and not followers. Keep on doing it. When I see our residents in the community looking for affordable housing, I want to say to Maureen Followay of Princeton Affordable Housing, Ed Trisselli of Princeton Community Housing, and Scott Parsons of Princeton Housing Authority, keep on doing it. Continue to provide affordable housing. And I know with the recent fire at Griggs Farm, more people are going to be in need of housing. When I see the police department under the direction of Chief Nick Sutter go out their way to communicate, to listen, to help our residents one person at a time, I want to say keep doing it. And I also want to express my special thank you to the fire department. We have a volunteer fire department that has done tremendous things, and they have stepped up to the plate on so many times. I just want to say thank you, and for them to keep doing it. And we are so lucky to live in Princeton, as has been stated. I've been so lucky to have been given the opportunity to represent this community. I'm looking forward to 2018 and the many new challenges that will face us as a council and as a team. Thank you.
Thank you. So much has already been said so eloquently about our successes and challenges so I will put fuller remarks into the record, but I just want to note a couple things. First, I certainly think we have our work cut out for us coming this year, and I hope that we will continue to be a bulwark against negative actions from DC, whether it's tax legislation that targets communities like ours, whether it's abandonment of efforts to address climate change or attempts to shred the safety net. We can be a bulwark. And that means standing up for our values. That means continuing to be a welcoming community. It means having a police department that really exemplifies our conviction that law enforcement members are guardians of the public, not warriors. And hopefully this part of our job, standing up for our values, that part will get a little bit easier now that we have more friends in Trenton and there are opportunities for new partnerships. And finally, I hope we can show that progressive government is good and effective government, which I think we have been doing. But none of this would be possible without the great work of our tremendous and dedicated staff and the many volunteers on our boards and commissions. And that work is really epitomized by the response to the tragic fire at Griggs Farms. And Mayor, you mentioned the work of the first responders, which was amazing. I just want to also call out all the community partners who have come together. Those first responders were actually at McCaffrey's this afternoon, and I know some of us, probably everybody, saw them today if you were near McCaffrey's, and they collected more than 2 truckloads of donations just this afternoon at McCaffrey's. And our Human Services Department, led by Lisa Nera, has been at the hotel, is there now actually handing out those donations, and we've had a tremendous response. In particular, I want to call out Trinity Church, which has been the home for receiving these donations, and they've handed out cell phones. Our Princeton Public Schools have lent buses to transport people and donations. The Nassau Inn has been there for the families affected. Princeton Community Housing is already there thinking about how to rebuild. Just a tremendous response. And just Lisa asked me to note that they have received so many material donations that they have now moved into the phase where they're going to be asking the public, if you can, to donate gift cards, especially universal gift cards that can be used at retail stores and supermarkets as people begin to restock and rebuild. So really a tremendous call out to the community coming together, and an amazing response, and I think it exemplifies what makes us all so proud to be Princetonians. Thank you.
Mr. Quinn.
Thank you. My remarks will only be slightly longer than the mayor's. No, actually. Thank you. As I embark on my second year on council, I'm more aware than ever what an honor and a great responsibility it is to represent Princeton on council. I thank my departing colleagues, Bernie Miller and Joe Butler, for sharing their wisdom with me as I learned the ropes on council. I deliberately chose the nautical term learn the ropes to describe my first year because in the days when ships were powered by wind, it was important for new sailors to learn how to work the sail lines in order for the ship to keep moving. I'd like to think I learned enough in my first year to contribute to keeping the ship of the municipality moving forward, as outlined in the achievements that our mayor, that were covered in the mayor's remarks. I still have much to learn, and I look forward to working with our leadership team, our great mayor, Liz Lempert, our wonderful council president, Jenny Crummiller, and my veteran council colleagues, Lance Liverman and Heather Howard. All are devoted public servants and true leaders in every sense of the word. All are doing this for the right reasons. I've had the pleasure of working with both our new colleagues. David and I served on the planning board, and Letitia was chair of the Human Rights Commission, of the Civil Rights Commission, sorry, when I was liaison in the first year. And I'm sure that they will be quick to learn the ropes and to help us serve Princeton. Spoiler alert, on council, we don't always agree. But how we express our disagreements is important. During a time when our constituents are looking to us for local solutions to problems resulting from national actions or inaction, they also seek relief from a fractured and rancorous national political scene. So how we disagree and how we get along will, in fact, matter to our constituents. I'm excited about my council assignments, and I look forward to continuing work with planning, civil rights, the Environmental Commission, CFAC, Bike Advisory, the Neighborhood Character Initiative, and the website working group, among others. I'm also especially excited to have been appointed liaison to the Board of Education. During this time when our town is growing, it is incumbent upon everyone to collaborate in the best interest of the people of Princeton. Gone are the days when we can say that's a school problem, or the schools are taking up half of your tax dollars, go tell them. We all need to be working together. So I look forward to working with the Board of Education. I know a little bit about how the board functions, and school leadership to identify ways we can collaborate, manage growth, and share services. I have no illusions that 2018 will be an easy year, but I have confidence in our mayor and council, in our professionals and staff, and in our colleagues at the county and state levels that we can deal with these challenges. Finally, I'd like to thank Brett Bonfield, who's in the back row, constant presence at our council meetings, and my colleagues at our fine public library for giving me the scheduling flexibility in my first job to be able to do this second job. A generous time off package helps also. Finally, I want to thank my wife Mary and my son George. Both of their support is central to everything I do. Thank you.
And now I'd like to open up the floor if there's anybody from the public who'd like to comment. Oh, and if not, then I'd like to invite you all, once we conclude the meeting, down the hallway to a reception. And is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.